One trip and one fall and dropping a rifle could change the whole hunt. The second time this year I've dropped a rifle and both times I've lost zero like I lost the hunt last week.
Then I'm not going to be available. And I must do my research before the heat is coming.
After dropping a rifle in any hunt, I've learned that it doesn't go back to what it was before. But let's rewind back to where I left home for PE before I even planned the hunt. But even then the hunt fell through. I don't know whether it's luck or misfortune.
Fortunately, or I don't know what can I call it, but a gray spock, you can never see it during the day. It's something out of luck. Most of the time during the day they sleep because they are nocturnal.
Apart from them being nocturnal, at night I planned to travel up because nothing would come up would stop these plans, but unfortunately
anything could happen that would make need me to say I am not going hunting. Once I've packed everything and ready to leave, it doesn't matter if someone would die. I would come back after the hunting trip and say I'm back, then we can start mourning. But anything after that, anything before that,
unknowingly saying that nothing would stop this trip, then a WhatsApp text does stop the trip.
And I'm behind with my work. I was supposed to ride tonight, but I can't ride tonight, so I'm gonna ride tomorrow morning. You understand? Then I'm not gonna be available. And I must do my research before the heat is coming.
And I decide, because I'm already halfway, rather move forward and see if I can't make a plan in front. But there's no plan in front, and it's just a matter of hope, but it's still not the same.
I've arrived, but it's still not the same.
Not the same in the sense that you would spend certain amounts of money believing that at least you've done everything, and actually in the morning you are gonna hunt. Well, night comes and goes and the day comes, but still no hunt coming in. Well, all in all, in this weekend, I can say I've confirmed that man plans and God laughs. Because you can see that everything is gonna go sideways. So, it's been a very long time since I've had such an experience, but it's not something new. It has happened before where I said I was going hunting and I had a tank burst on me and then I couldn't hunt. So yes, it being nothing new, but it still feels like a burden on your shoulders, like something is not okay.
There is a weight on my shoulders that I can say I feel to a certain extent, because normally when I leave I feel a sense of relief, or say I've done everything that I had planned to do. So now the plans don't go through, they fall. So it's a bit tough. Yes, it's a bittersweet pill to swallow. And I decided, you know what, let me not force things and try and make up the...
Forcing things at this point is not gonna help. Rather just go down and come back again. Because if I plan this week, then I know next week all the plans are gonna go well. Well, hopefully.
I'm trying my all means to cut the distance down a bit, but as you can see, the numbers, they're coming down a bit, but still, same week.
So the initial thing on arrival is that I should sort out everything that would ever go wrong, the things that would be possibly going wrong. Then I have access to an indoor shooting range, at least it's 25 meters, so there's a belief that from 25 to 200, it's almost similar if it's dead on. Everything goes well, but all my efforts are gonna go in vain. So what I've come here for is just to double check the zero and see if it's still doing the same thing, because definitely in a few days it's going up. So I've been trying to figure out a load for the 223 for a long time, and at least it does a decent group, but still not grouping as I desire. So I decided to take both rifles to the shooting range. 270 on this hunt is gonna be a backup rifle just in case something goes wrong, and unfortunately a lot of things go wrong. Only because the 270 I've hunted majority of animals with it. So my desire was to have the 223 earn its wings. Then decided to adjust the scope for the 223, and the 270 was dead on at 25, but at least a bit low on 25. Excitement is in the air because of two things: the farm I'm hunting at and the 223's performance.
One thing is for sure, that 223 is now dead on. So for 200 meters and further, it's still dead on. So I've started in at 25, believing that at 200 meters, it's going to be on money. So I believe, regardless of where the blessed buck are, if it's anything between 100 and 200, it's a dead blessed buck. That there's just no doubt.
And no doubt, because the farm I'm going to, they've never cancelled any hunt. Now one worry is out of the way, but now in with the heat that's up here. I don't know how in this heat, but it's extremely hot. It's just too hot for today, and I decided to just park on the side of the road. I can't go. At least the worries of the past week are out of the question, because in this farm they never cancel.
I have struggled before to get a place to hunt, but I've never struggled this much. But at least
this week, I'm sure, even if it's raining or it's hot, as long as it was confirmed last week, it's still confirmed. If that worry is out of the way, then everything is gonna be smooth also, I thought. So on arrival, get some fat meat. As you know, carnivores don't eat salad. Sharpen my knives, because I know regardless of what happens in the morning, there's just no way we are hunting in the morning. Early morning brings on the heat because the sun is out very early.
out. It's not a very early morning, but it is an early morning. It's just that the sun is quite hot very early this morning. So it's a matter of just hunting very quick and getting done, because it's going to be very hot during the day.
And with the belief that everything is in abundance, the conservation in this farm is out of this world. You would think by 10 I would be going.
Yeah.
Now.
Busy. I'm busy. Put this Scotland.
But Bantu will take you.
No problem.
Yeah, you know, you two have was a chemistry.
Yeah. Smooth one.
Then and then I want the shooting range before I can even attempt hunting, so that I can say everything of mine I've confirmed with confidence. So that at least by 10 I can be going out with all the successful hunts I have under my belt hunting this farm. Today is going to be my worst record ever. But let me just test out the rifle and see, and it's going to confirm. So what I would like to do is just test if the 223 can go to 200 as exactly as I think, and then if it does, then we are on. Everything is done the same way as I've been doing it. The rifle proves it that if you zero at 25, then at 200 you're not even close, you are where you're aiming at. If I had a way to pray, I would have prayed for the rifles to stay shooting the same way. My obsession has always been with perfection, double checking everything that I've confirmed, crossing every T and every I, and off we go, because now we are all sure that the rifle is shooting very well. Not only shooting well, but a very small gong that has been put up at 200 meters. And we leave without any fear or doubt inside. But now the exciting part is that I get confirmation that anything that has to do with baboon, caracal, and jackal, it's free. You can shoot all you want. Apart from preparing for the baboons we saw in the distance, we start seeing the blessed buck crossing the field. So it's a matter of any predator that you see, whether caracal, jackal, say shoot them as soon as you see them. And then the baboons, apart from the baboons damaging anything that they can put their hands on, unknowingly my record was going to be damaged. We had seen the blessed buck very close, around 50 meters, so we decided to go around the bush just to see which one we can take. As we go around, they take off. And there they go, cross the hill at 500. And definitely, as the type of hunt I would love, we decided to put a stock, because now every time we come close with the cruiser, they take off again. So the decision was to go on foot and try and get as close as we can, but when we get over, we can't see any blessed buck. They've vanished into thin air. First initial issue is that we came in with the cruiser to try and cover the distance, but we should have walked to them, because now they've gone over at 500 meters, so we're gonna stalk. We decide to put a stalk and go over the hill, but as we go over, we don't see any blessed buck in sight. We look everywhere, we don't see the blessed buck, and it seems that they've vanished into thin air. But unfortunately, we left them just in front of us. Mutual decision is taken. We decide to go over the mountain because we see the spoor going up and over the mountain. We decide to look at some of the spoor, but where there's rocks, the spoor ends and we can't tell exactly where did this black spot go. But unknowingly, they are just on top of a cliff where we can't see them from below and we can't see them clearly from the top. So we decide to go up the mountain anyway.
So it seems like they've run in circles because we've come over, yeah, and it seems that they're that side, not this side.
In between everything, we decide to just look at the spoor just to confirm if they didn't go the other side or the other way, but the spoor ends where the rocks start, so we can't follow exactly where did they go.
So we're looking for spoor and see where the spoor leads us, and then we'll follow the spoor because we can't see them anywhere.
Going up the mountain, we try and double check everything that we see and doubt or think that it might be, but it's not. And it's a steep mountainous route going up, but because we're still focused on the mountainous route that is very steep, and there is a slight fear of heights when you can't have control and you would doubt that you want to walk on your own feet because being on top of a cruiser at the edge, and while focusing on the edge, we're missing the blessed spot behind us. And we go up and over the mountain and get to the top of the mountain and still no blessed spot on top. But on our way back, while frustrated, we see the blessed spot, then the hunt starts. But now that's where the problem starts.
We're on top of the mountain, but we've not spotted them yet.
The biggest mistake I had made while going up with the cruiser was resting my rifle on the kettle rails. And still on my way down, I rested the rifle on the kettle rails, so it was vibrating the whole time going down. Putting that aside out of the question. So going down, we start spotting the blessed spot just when we get down. And now you would think that now we've spotted them and the performance of the rifle in the morning, everything is sorted and solid. The first problem is that everyone has bright colors apart from me, so I have to go down first. Landed in and relaxed just on top of where the rocks are is the head of Blessbok, and I put a stalk on. So I have to put a stalk on my own and go and get to one where they are. I've had this happen twice to me. First in the hunting season around July, hunting for kudu. While trying to get as close as I can to the kudu, covering the distance to at least 200. Trip and the rifle swings forward very hard onto the rocks. And as you can hear the sound, it's on a rock and on top of the blessbok, not even underneath or close to the blessbok. Little bit of dust lifts on top of them, and I start to decide, you know what, it's not gonna help because now I don't know how high is it shooting or how low or what's happening. And then there's wounds that I also have freshly cut. But we make the worst decision of saying, let's shoot at an anthill and see if it hits. But the anthill, you can't be sure how high it hits.
Bantu ngena.
So we've opted to say it's not gonna assist us to look for the blessbok the whole day because they keep on moving. So we'd rather change and look for a pig, and that's it.
So that's what made us have a little bit of confidence in the rifle and not change it for the 270. Now the mistake is we changed the 270 at very late in the day and there's nothing that can be done. It's cut off time at the farm. Three giant pigs stop and I choose one out of them. He gives me an opportunity to shoot and he stops and I shoot and shoot over him.
You can do everything right and do everything correctly, but things just don't pan out as you planned. And that's what hunting is. Well,
so we go back to the house and say, you know what, we need assistance, but still we're not changing the rifle. We decide to sight in the 223 instead of taking the 270 and going out.
Final verdict is that we should opt for sighting in the rifle again because it is dropped, and then go look for.
After a couple of shots, not being able to see exactly where it's hitting because you pointed the gong and dust lifts the very top at high or low.
So one thing is for sure, two things happened. I got on top of the mountain, the rifle was loose, the scope was just loose, and then I tightened it up. So once after tightening it up, I didn't check again. So might be that's when the zero was lost, but then also second, dropped the rifle very hard on the rocks going down, putting a stop. So it is what it is.
But now we start prepping for the 270 to go out, but also remember it's
Dit vir die dag, né?
Okay.
You can call it a day.
Okay.
As jy nog maar voor staan gewees en jy die kloof opgegaan het.
Okay, Boetie. So, Boetie.
Kumningi again.
Ngoba lo. Jonga ngoku kwelapha. Jonga
Hey.
zokuqala.
Yeah.
Now I've got the 270 out and the pigs are at a full sprint. No pig wants to stop and you don't want to injure any animal. And we try to continue hunting, but we see that at the end of the day there's nothing that's going to happen because the pigs are not stopping. They are at a full sprint every time we see them. And apart from that, if at the farm you leave after 4, then there's a chance that animals can be shot and not recovered. But if you leave after 2, then every animal that's been hunted can be recovered.
There's no stone unturned. Tried sighting it in, but didn't shoot very well. They decided, it's a waste of time.
And just like that, we've looked and searched everywhere, but we still have hope of we might find a pig, we might find this, we might find that, but every opportunity after that, and it's now time to call it a day. But all these things come with the territory of hunting, but there's 2 lessons I've learned, very hard ones. I need an A4 paper with me at all times, and secondly, if I drop a rifle, change it.
Oh, good.
Bona sinakunceda sizamile.
Ah, konto yenzekile.
Nyani.
Into yasekuzingeleni.
Yeah. Ilishwa.
Oh, into yasekuzingeleni leya.
Sorry mkanami.
Hayi kuhle ba.
Sohambe kakuhle.
Sure. The hunt has come to an end, and coincidentally, when I've got the 270 with me, it so happens that I put the safety on, and everything is locked. So when 2 pigs show up just at the end of the hunt, they show up, I point at them, pull the trigger, it doesn't engage. Then I remember the safety's on, I switch it off. When I point again, the pigs have already gone. So it is evident that for today, there was no animal that was supposed to die, and no one could force things regardless of how hard they could ever try.